name is Dr. Marvin Cheatham. I am a retired federal government employee. I was employed with the National Labor Relations Board as an election specialist for 41 years. Happily retired now after a little more than 5 years. I can happily say that I basically have had a great success in heading up organizations. I was president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference that was founded by Reverend Dr. King. I was also president of what was at one point the #1 branch in the nation, and that is the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. When I retired from the NAACP, I was also president of the National Action Network. I've had the pleasure of being the president of maybe at least 16 organizations. One of those was, of course, also the Baltimore City Election Board. Many of the things that I basically have been involved with has basically been helping people. I've been a registered Democrat almost all my life until last year. Last year, I headed up a conglomerate of organizations and political people, and we were trying to get more funding for the Maryland HBCUs. That's the Maryland Historical Black Colleges and Universities. And in December of last year, I left the Democratic Party and registered as a member of the Green Party. I did so because it was clear to me that year after year, decade after decade, that African Americans, for the most part here in the state of Maryland, are registered as Democrats. But for the last 35 years, the Democratic Party literally has done nothing for African Americans. And what we are attempting to do today is to share with people that are seeing and hearing this video to look about the issue dealing with voting. We're strongly encouraging you to vote for the best qualified, deserving, and electable candidate, regardless of race, regardless of party affiliation, and regardless of sex. And the only way we can improve upon the people that represent us is we got to do a better job in electing them. Sadly enough, the Democratic Party has used and abused African Americans. And in some cases, African Americans have to accept some of the blame, because what has happened is basically we have gone along to get along and can't look at the end of the day and say, what have Democrats done for us? And the answer is basically nothing. So we encourage you to vote, but vote for the most qualified, deserving, and electable candidate.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenneth Mejia, and I'm running for Congress in California's 34th Congressional District. And I'm reaching out to all the Greens nationwide to see if you can donate to the CCC Candidate Fund. As you know, us Greens, we don't take any corporate money. Many of us don't even have any PAC money or union money. We're powered by people like you. And that's why it's important to donate to the CCC Candidate Fund so that they can help campaigns all over the country. So please donate, please help us so we can be in office with your support. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Adam Davis, and I'm running for the 1st Congressional District here in Utah. I'm proud to be running with the Green Party because it's a party that's funded and powered by people, not by corporate interests and donations. And that means that since we're people powered, that means all of you that are watching this. We need your help to make sure that our candidates have what they need to be able to win races up and down the ballot all across the country. The Green Party is committed to a better future than the Democrats and the Republicans have delivered us. Their politics of fear have delivered everything that we were afraid of. And now it's time that we move forward to build a more hopeful future for people, for peace, and for planet. And we need people to volunteer, we need people to donate. $10, $5, anything, whatever you can donate. Please donate to the Green Party CCC Candidate Fund to help candidates across the country break the corporate stranglehold on our government. You can also find my campaign at davisforutah.com, as well as on Facebook and Twitter, where you can donate directly to my campaign. And again, please donate to the Green Party Coordinated Campaign Committee Candidate Fund to help candidates all over the country. Thank you.
My name's Ryan Sullivan, and like many of you, I'm fed up. Fed up with insufficient wages. Fed up with the lack of meaningful opportunities we all have available to us. Fed up with xenophobic and racist institutions waging war on the most vulnerable amongst us every day. I'm fed up with all the elitist class enemies out here manufacturing popular support with their lies, their nationalism, and the funding of capitalist bloodsuckers to make it possible. Like many of you, I want my child to have air to breathe, grass to run through, and a world where he isn't treated like the plaything of the rich and powerful when he too grows up. Our campaign isn't playing for the hearts and minds of lobbyists or wealthy donors. We will not placate or play nice with racists and those who would otherwise divide up our working class communities for profit and power. Politicians whose failed ideologies and critical support has gotten us here are not in a position to dictate the terms of our collective liberation a moment longer. We are the radical left they've been warning you about. Push back with us and donate today to ensure that this campaign has the materials and funds to force the ruling class and political establishments here to respond on these vital issues. A better world is possible, but it is not guaranteed. It is in our hands to make it come about.
Hi, my name is Erin Fox. I'm co-chair of the Coordinated Campaign Committee of the Green Party of the United States. And I'd like to thank you for tuning in to our first social media telethon today. We've got a lot of great candidates who have shared their views, and we really need your help in supporting them. And that's why I'm asking you to donate to the CCC Candidate Fund. The CCC Candidate Fund provides support to candidates in targeted races all across the country. We've got a lot of exciting campaigns this year, from the congressional races in California to local races all across the nation, and we really need your support in order to win. If you believe in green values and you want to help promote a green message and you want to see green governance, it's critical that you support our candidates with a kind, generous donation today. Please donate to the CCC Candidate Fund, and thank you for everything you do to support green values.
My name is Laura Wells, and I'm running for Congress District 13 in California. I'm delighted to be a member of this great group of candidates that's running this year across the country. Here in California, we have 3 candidates, Greens, running against incumbent Democrats. No Republicans in the race running for Congress. They are funded by the billionaires and their corporations. That's what's messed up the country. We're funded by real people like you. So thank you to the CCC fundraising efforts and to you. Give what you can today, and together we'll move toward a much better world. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rodolfo Cortes Barragan. So I am a candidate for Congress in California's 40th Congressional District. This is East and Southeast Los Angeles County. It's an impoverished, heavily polluted area, the most Latinx, Chicanx, Mexican-American community in the United States. And we have a big problem, which is that our representative in Congress claims to be for the people. She's been there for 25 years, and before that it was her father. So altogether, the same family has been in power for 55 years. And while the Roybal family has introduced some bills and gotten some concessions from the Republicans to help the community a little bit, for the most part, there is so much that they could have done to help the community. For example, this is just one example. There was a battery factory in the community, the Exide battery factory, and this factory was polluting for decades. What did the Roybal family do? Nothing. Entire families got sick. Children, we are a cancer hotspot. Children are dying of cancer. Entire families have died, and this could have all been prevented if the representatives had actually done anything. Mrs. Roybal and her father did nothing, and now the same situation is continuing all around the district with new factories that are not following regulations. So people are literally being killed by these factories, and these factories, of course, serve the military-industrial complex. This is where they get finished. Those airplane parts. And so what happens with the finished product? Then we go assaulting other societies. This is not good for anybody except for those that benefit from constant war and pollution at home. So please, if you're able to, help out the campaign. We are lucky that we will be on the November ballot. This is one of the first times in California we have 3 candidates that will be on the November ballot for Congress. This is an outstanding opportunity. We're running in the bluest districts in the land, so we must get out these Democrats. This is the perfect way to do it. So please support all 3 of us, and if you can, donate to the CCC Candidate Fund.
Welcome to the very first inaugural Green Wave Telethon. I'm Erin Fox, co-chairperson of the Green Party of the United States Coordinated Campaign Committee. We will feature Green Party candidates from all across the country today who are very deserving of your support. So we hope you'll take the time to watch the program and get to know our candidates. The reason why we're here today is to raise money for candidates all across the nation. The Coordinated Campaign Committee supports candidates with education, campaign assets, volunteers, and selects from a group of applicants each year for direct financial support. Candidates across the country are counting on your kind donations, with which they'll get yard signs, t-shirts, or literature for their campaigns. We have great candidates running up and down the ticket across the country, and they need your support to win. Our green candidates aren't funded by corporate money or super PACs. They're funded by people just like you. So I urge you to go to gp.org/give now and make a donation today. And if you're interested in running for office, we'd love to hear from you. Greens are making a difference by getting actively involved in elections all across the country. If you'd like to run, send us an email at ccc@gp.org. To get started, I would like to introduce Eric Stoltz from El Paso, Texas. He's a Green running for office there in El Paso. Eric, welcome to the program.
Thank you, and thank you for having me and join this first telethon that you guys are hosting.
You're welcome. It's great to have you, Eric. Eric, what office are you running for, and what made you interested in running for that position?
I'm running for City Council District 6 here in El Paso, and really, what really brought me to run for office in this race is because of a lot of corporate donation and campaign donations that donors that are beholden to basically the city's needs and what the city's doing.
Yeah, that's a real important reason to run for office. Greens want to get big money out of politics, and it starts with campaigns just like yours. What is it, Eric, that you're doing to differentiate yourself from your opponents? What are you doing to show people that green policy is better than that of the other parties?
We're really just talking to people. It's a grassroots campaign. We don't have not tens of thousands of dollars like my opponent, but we are talking and knocking on every single door that every voter and really reaching out to them and letting them know that grassroots campaigns can be won and real renewable progressive ideas can be won and achieved by investment in solar panels, renewable energy, green infrastructure, and anything that really provides for people in government in any city, and really just focusing on grassroots campaigning.
That's fantastic, Eric. And what have you found so far to be the biggest challenge of your campaign?
I would say for just maybe some of the volunteers, really just trying to get as many volunteers as I can. Like I said, since I am up against tens of thousands of dollars, volunteers are the biggest base that I would need to win this campaign in this election. But I do have volunteers, but I guess the hardest thing is really focusing, building a stronger base of volunteers to go ahead and win this election.
What kinds of specific things are you doing out there to build your base of support? What are voters in your district, in your city responding to, Eric?
Well, we right now we are in the midst of trying to build an arena, $108 million arena, in displacing low-income residents in our downtown area, and people are very upset about this. Campaign donors, of course, are in favor of this arena to be built for their needs, for their wants, and people are really just fed up with our monies going to private interest when we don't have sidewalks, great infrastructure, and flooding in my district. So people are really upset, and people are happy that someone is running that is not beholden to these campaigns.
That's excellent and great work with your fight there against the arena. What are some of the other issues that voters in El Paso are most concerned about, and what will you do specifically to address those issues?
Well, one of the first thing is we actually have the second highest property tax in Texas, but one of the lowest incomes in Texas as well. And these are very important issues that we really need to focus on. We have the highest debt of about $2 billion in the state of Texas, but yet again have the lowest wages. And these are very important issues that people are focused on and worried about of going in further debt, going to bankruptcy, and yet having the highest taxes. So these are things that we're really addressing, and we're really making sure that we can make investments in solar that are going to reduce our electricity bill, but also clean our energy. Just a lot of investments in progressive policies and pushing for paid sick leave and worker benefits. Maybe we cannot raise the minimum wage, but we can definitely fight and give people paid sick leave that they deserve.
Thank you for being out on there in the front lines, fighting for what's right for everybody. Eric, I've got one last question here for you. Why did you choose the Green Party? What is it that made the Green Party attractive to you and made you want to run as a Green Party candidate?
Well, I think just the policies, really strong progressive policies, not moving to the center just when it's for their benefit. And while it's a small party, I believe that growing it for the young people, we are ready for change, and we're ready for something new and different that's not beholden to the same thing that has happened. But I really appreciate that, and I want everybody to really think about following our Facebook page or donating to the CCC campaign candidate fund at gp.org/fund now.
That's right. Once again, for the folks out there watching on Facebook, it is www.gp.org/give now. It's Eric Stoltz. Thanks for being with us here on the program, Eric. Really enjoyed having you.
Well, thank you, and thank everybody for watching. Again, you can just check me out at Eric Stoltz for City Council on Facebook or my website. Thank you.
In your home, who are at work, who's in your car, we need you to help us get to the office, get into the seat so that we can make an equitable change. My name is Erin Camacho. I'm running for Wisconsin State Senate in District 31, and I am here to ask for your support. I need some help with fundraising. We are the Green Party, and we are the People's Party. And when we come to the table, we're not taking corporate donations. What that means is we need you. We need you who are in your home, who are at work, who's in your car. We need you to help us get to the office, get into the seat so that we can make an equitable change within our legislatures. And we can't do that without you. So I humbly ask for your donations of any amount. And if you're willing to help the U.S. Green Party as well. We would more than welcome any donations that you have for our campaigns and across the country. Again, my name is Erin Camacho. I'm running for Wisconsin State Senate in District 31, and I am running for a united Wisconsin, keeping in mind mutual respect and mutual understanding.
Hi, I'm Abrian Velarde. I'm a candidate in Utah State Senate. But I want to talk about the Greens that are running across the country. We have got some very passionate people. We've got people that care, and we need to do what we can to show them support. If you have any questions or concerns, there's going to be opportunities for you to reach out to the candidates that are running in your area. If you don't have any candidates running in your area, then adopt a candidate in another area. We are doing everything we can. I have met some wonderful Greens. They are fighting hard, and they need your help. We can't fight this alone. We need your support. Every little bit helps because we're not taking corporate donations. This is a movement for the people, by the people, and not the corporations, and we need to do more to support the candidates so that we can fight for you. So please, donate to your candidates, to your local candidates, to your adopted candidates, and thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Justin Beth, and I'm running for School Board District 1 in Portland, Maine. So the reason why I'm running is I feel that we have an incredible opportunity as a person that actually supports the Green Party to provide good governance to the people of Portland, Maine, valuing education as a very important right for the people. We have so much things that our government spends money on that is not really supporting the people of Maine and our children and our future. It's time that we think about who we send to represent us at the school board, on city council, at the state rep level, and further. What I encourage you to do, I'm trying to run a no-frills campaign. I'm not really taking any contributions of my own, but I highly encourage you to donate to the Maine Green Party and also to the Coordinated Campaign Committee and support Greens around the nation. It is time for change. We need it now. Please help us get there. Help us establish a new way of governance that values people, planet, and peace over profit. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cheri Honkala, and I'm a proud member of the Green Party. I'm so happy to have left that other party. Folks, you need to dip into your pocket and you need to pull out whatever kind of money, because if we want change in this country, we've got to donate to folks that are brave enough to stand up to corporate America, and we need to begin to support our candidates in this party. So donate today to the CCC. Do whatever you can, and it's going to go a long way.
Hi, it's Aaron Fox, and we're back with more of the Green Wave Telethon. We've had some exciting endorsements around the country for different Green candidates. We're really excited to report that in Florida, Robin Harris, who is a Green Party candidate for Orange County Commission, was endorsed by the Service Employees International Union of Florida. SEIU Florida endorses Robin Harris for Orange County Commission. That's big news. We've also got Lynn Kahn. She's a Green Party congressional candidate in the 21st District for Nevada. She was endorsed by Veterans in Politics International. Angel Therese is a Green Party candidate running for governor of Arizona. He was endorsed by the Latinx caucus of the Green Party of the United States. Kenneth Mejia, Green Party congressional candidate for the 34th District in California, was endorsed by the Southeast Asian American Progressive Coalition, who said, it's not enough for Asian Americans to vote for Democrats. If we want to truly realize impactful change for our own families, friends, and community members, we need to vote for Southeast Asian progressives. And finally, Elijah Manley, the 19-year-old wonder candidate down in Florida. You just seen him in Teen Vogue magazine. He has been endorsed by Students United, Project Rise Up, the Broward County chapter of the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America, the Latino Votes of Broward County, VoteProChoice.us. Elijah Manley down in Florida is just racking up endorsements. Congratulations to all the candidates, and may you do well in your elections. Turning a little bit to look in my state, we've got some great candidates here in Michigan. We've got Gina Lusters running in the 2nd District for County Commissioner in the city of Flint. Jessica Smith is running for State Senate here in Michigan in the 14th District. A big race to replace John Conyers in Congress is heating up in the 13th District. The Green Party has nominated Dieta Wilcoxon for that seat. Wade Roberts is running for State Senate in MI 38 in the Upper Peninsula. Charlotte Akins is running for Kent County Commissioner in District 12 in Kent County. And also on that side of the state, we have Jacob Straley running for State Representative in MI 75. Last but not least, Tom Mayer is running for County Commissioner. He's an incumbent in Grand Traverse County. He's running in the 2nd District. And we hope that all of our Michigan viewers will give these candidates their support. And folks around the country, if you don't have a Green candidate to support, adopt a Green. There's a lot of candidates running in Michigan, Connecticut, New Jersey, and Ohio, to name a few. Coming up next is a Green many Michiganders know and love. She's the former chair of the Green Party of Michigan, and she's currently running for State Board of Education for a 3rd time. She's the sister of Laura Wells, who is running for Congress with the Green Party in California. They say the 3rd time's the charm. Please welcome Cheri Wells to the program. Got some technical difficulties. Cheri's trying to get onto the call, so we'll pause with a short break from Rodolfo Cortes Barragan.
Hola, me llamo Rodolfo Cortes Barragan. Yo soy un candidato para el Partido Verde en el Distrito 40 de California para el Congreso, o sea, para allá, para Washington, D.C. Y bueno, muchas personas en la comunidad tal vez se preguntan, ¿el Partido Verde? ¿Qué es el Partido Verde? El Partido Verde es un partido más reciente que los demócratas y los republicanos. Obviamente esos dos partidos han estado ahí por más de 100 años. Pero si ustedes se ponen a analizar la situación, esos partidos realmente no nos están representando, nada más representan a los ricos, la mera verdad, a las corporaciones gigantescas multinacionales. Y por eso es que suben y suben los precios de la comida, de los carros, de los préstamos estudiantiles. ¿Y qué pasa con el sueldo? No sube para nada, ¿verdad? Se queda completamente ahí. Y eso es algo excesivamente negativo. O sea, las personas, las familias están sufriendo en nuestra área donde yo estoy corriendo, pero también por todo el país, por todo el mundo. Esto es porque hemos dejado que los partidos del establecimiento agarren dinero de los ricos. Entonces, obviamente, cuando entran al poder van a apoyar a las corporaciones, a las personas de alto lucro. Entonces, Entonces, por eso en el Partido Verde no agarramos ningún centavo de ninguna corporación. Todos somos individuos que estamos apoyando este movimiento, porque ¿qué es lo que necesitamos? Necesitamos paz, ya no tanta guerra. Necesitamos ayudar al medio ambiente. Cada año está más y más caliente el verano. O sea, eso es un desastre total. Nosotros somos cuerpos biológicos, entonces necesitamos necesitamos un medio ambiente en el cual podamos sobrevivir. Porque ¿qué nos va a pasar a nuestra sangre, a nuestro cuerpo si se pone muy caliente? Estamos hechos de 70% de agua. Entonces, realmente necesitamos un nuevo partido, un partido que no haga ningún centavo de las corporaciones y que apoye al medio ambiente y que apoye al futuro de los niños. En este momento los niños, nuestras familias no tienen un futuro. Necesitamos un futuro y el Partido Verde les ofrece ese futuro. Entonces, por favor, voten por el Partido Verde. Gracias.
Hi, I'm Aaron Fox, and we're back with more Green Wave Telethon. Cheri Wells is having technical difficulties and can't make it in right now. Hopefully we can get to her a little bit later in the program. I just wanted to take a minute to thank everyone who's participated in this project, including Lou Novak, who filmed a lot of the candidate videos, Craig Seaman, who was directed behind the scenes, Ann Link of the Media Committee, Starlene Rankin, Holly Hart, and my co-hosts today, Felina Farley and David Cobb, and all of our Green Party Facebook share team who's been getting the word out. You folks are the best. Thanks to each and every one of you for your help in bringing this program together today. A little bit later in the broadcast, we'll have former Green Party presidential candidate David Cobb here to speak with more candidates. And up next, following a few more candidate videos, we've got the fabulous Felina Farley, who comes to you live from Ohio, speaking with Andrew Saturn. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more of the Green Wave Telethon.
My name is Erin Camacho. I'm running for Wisconsin State Senate in District 31, and I am here to ask for your support. I need some help with fundraising. We are the Green Party, and we are the People's Party. And when we come to the table, we're not taking corporate donations. What that means is we need you. We need you who are in your home, who are at work, who's in your car. We need you to help us get to the office, get into the seat so that we can make an equitable change within our legislatures. And we can't do that without you. So I humbly ask for your donations of any amount. And if you're willing to help the U.S. Green Party as well, we would more than welcome any donations that you have for our campaigns and across the country. Again, my name is Erin Camacho. I'm running for Wisconsin State Senate in District 31, and I am running for a united Wisconsin, keeping in mind mutual respect and mutual understanding.
Hi, I'm Abrian Velarde. I'm a candidate in Utah State Senate. But I want to talk about the Greens that are running across the country. We have got some very passionate people. We've got people that care, and we need to do what we can to show them support. If you have any questions or concerns, there's going to be opportunities for you to reach out to the candidates that are running in your area. If you don't have any candidates running in your area, then adopt a candidate in another area. We are doing everything we can. I have met some wonderful Greens. They are fighting hard, and they need your help. We can't fight this alone. We need your support. Every little bit helps because we're not taking corporate donations. This is a movement for the people, by the people, and not the corporations, and we need to do more to support the candidates so that we can fight for you. So please, donate to your candidates, to your local candidates, to your adopted candidates, and thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Justin Beth, and I'm running for School Board District 1 in Portland, Maine. So the reason why I'm running is I feel that we have an incredible opportunity as a person that actually supports the Green Party to provide good governance to the people of Portland, Maine, valuing education as a very important right for the people. We have so much things that our government spends money on that is not really supporting the people of Maine and our children and our future. It's time that we think about who we send to represent us at the school board, on city council, at the state rep level, and further. What I encourage you to do, I'm trying to run a no-frills campaign. I'm not really taking any contributions of my own, but I highly encourage you to donate to the Maine Green Party. And also to the Coordinated Campaign Committee, and support Greens around the nation. It is time for change. We need it now. Please help us get there. Help us establish a new way of governance that values people, planet, and peace over profit. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cheri Honkala, and I'm a proud member of the Green Party. I'm so happy to have left that other party. Folks, you need to dip into your pocket and you need to pull out whatever kind of money, because if we want change in this country, we've got to donate to folks that are brave enough to stand up to corporate America, and we need to begin to support our candidates in this party. So donate today to the CCC. Do whatever you can, and it's going to go a long way.
Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Saturn. I'm running for Public Utility District Commissioner in Washington and Thurston County. Our host had some technical difficulties, so couldn't join us. So I'm just gonna get to talk for a little bit. So like I said, I'm running for Public Utility District in Washington and Thurston County. You can find more information about me at votesaturn.com. So I can hear a host, but I don't think the people watching can hear. So here, let me pull up. I had some notes. I guess there were some questions from another host that were like, why did you decide to run? The reason I decided to run well, there's multiple reasons. The biggest reason was the money involved, and this is the smallest campaign in the county. It's the only nonpartisan position in the county other than judges. And there was just ridiculous amounts of money being poured into the public utility district by our local power monopoly, Puget Sound Energy. They poured in twice as much money in independent spending as the previous campaign spent total. So that is, every single independent donor was about $4,000, $5,000. Puget Sound Energy independently spent $9,000 in 2012 on this last election. And I just think that's a little insane, especially for such a small county position. This is weird because I'm like the host of my so the host is asking me why. You said, why am I running? Is that what you said? Yeah, so I mean, the biggest issue for me is broadband internet. The county overall is 50% rural, I'd say, or not necessarily rural, but unincorporated. It's not big city, even though we're the home to the state capital of Olympia. We don't have fiber anywhere in the county for residential use. Our Native American population has 99% have no access to the internet. When you have an option for broadband internet, you have an option between Comcast and CenturyLink, but never both. So you either have 0 options or 1 option. So it's pretty much, even though there's more than one internet provider, it's a monopoly situation. And in a lot of parts of the county, you can only get satellite internet, which sounds great because, like, oh, it's going to space and back, but it's like dial-up speeds basically. So if you want to do something like what we're doing right now, Skype, your uplink is going to be dial-up. It's just not possible. You can't make phone calls to your friends and family over Skype. It's just an insane situation for the county that is the home to the capital of the state, where we should be, the state of Washington is the home to Microsoft and Amazon and all these tech companies. Why is the capital stuck with one option for internet? So what I want to do is have a public option for broadband internet, basically, where it's a public utility run by the public utility district, just like water is right now. So it would, be fiber internet managed democratically. It sounds like a train wreck or something. Is there? Okay. I can't talk because it's so loud and distracting. Is there a way to mute her line? Can anyone hear me? Is there a way to mute her? Okay. Okay, well, I'll talk without the headphones on. How much time is left? Okay, cool. So I guess one challenge our campaign is experiencing is just finding volunteers, getting the information out, because like I said, it's the smallest elected office in the county. It's a 6-year term. It's part-time. It's it's not the only, it's one of the only part-time elected positions. So I actually work a full-time job on top of running a campaign, and I'll continue to work a full-time job if elected. Many people don't know public utilities are democratically managed here in the county. They don't know we already have water as a public utility. Like I said, I'd like to do electricity and internet as public utilities as alternatives to the monopolies. I didn't really get time to explain much about our power monopoly, Puget Sound Energy. Like I said, they've dumped thousands into the campaign, twice as much as the other contributors combined. And we'll have phone banking opportunities for anyone across the country who wants to call for our campaign. You can get more information at votesaturn.com. I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if you can still hear me out there. Yeah, so again, the campaign website is votesaturn.com, and apologies to the audience, you can't hear the host, there's some technical difficulties. I can hear him asking me questions, but it's kind of, there's one real quick question. There was a question about 4G and 5G. We're really sticking to doing fiber. There's ways to make fiber affordable. Like I said, there's more information on the website, votesaturn.com. Yeah, thank you, everybody. The host is saying thank you. I assume you can hear him, but you can't. You can only hear me. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but that's grassroots activism.
Hello, my name is Constance Gadell-Newton, and I'm running for Governor of Ohio. We, as Greens, are running a people-focused campaign, and we're the only candidates who don't take corporate money. So donate for a green future. We're running a people-powered campaign, grassroots democracy, and I can say that in my race in the past, we have the lowest cost per vote. So in my last race, I ran a race for state representative, and my cost per vote was 66 cents per vote. If you compare that to what the Democrats and Republicans are buying votes for, you'll see that our democracy really is bought, unfortunately. But the way to do that is to help your green candidates. And you can do that by donating, because we don't accept corporate donations. We really need your help as individuals. So we're not taking money from corporate donations. We're not taking money from the fracking industry. We're not taking money from private prisons. We're not taking money from charter schools that are trying to privatize our public schools. And one reason that this is so important is because this system of kickbacks and corruption in our politics, it's causing a lot of corruption, and it's taking away money from the people. It's taking away money from our schools. It's causing mass incarceration, because the mainstream political candidates are voting and creating legislation based on what the corporations want them to do. And unfortunately, it's very profitable to have a school to prison pipeline. It's profitable to lock people up. And they're even saying that, they can create jobs in rural communities by building more prisons. Those are not the kinds of jobs that we need. We need meaningful livelihoods that are going to be sustainable and support the people. So as running for governor, I'm running to support the people of Ohio. I'm running to create a good education system where every child has the right to a good education. And so while a lot of other groups are giving lip service to getting money out of politics, often what I find is that some of these nonprofits are actually funded by corporate money. So they're saying that, and they may really want that, but they're actually still taking corporate money. When you vote Green and when you support Green Party candidates, you know that we are actually not taking corporate money. We're people funded. And so in order for us to continue our very important work, our anti-corruption work and our peace movement work, our representing the people, we really need your support. So there are a few ways that you can do this. You can support the Green Party at the national level, and that national group helps all the candidates and helps build infrastructure throughout the country. So please donate to the Green Party US CCC Fund, the Coordinated Campaign Committee Candidate Fund. You can do that online. That will go out to all the candidates. It provides training for candidates, literature help, media help, and a lot of things that we need. You can also support your local candidates. You can donate to my campaign, Constance Gadell-Newton for Governor of Ohio, at constanceforohio.org. We have a donation page on our website. You can also sign up to volunteer. And that's something that that we really need. We need help with volunteers. We're a people-powered party and a people-powered campaign. So we really are living by our principles, and that is the great thing about being a Green, is that because we're not taking kickbacks, we're not, from corporations, we're able to actually live out our political principles. And as I've been campaigning, one of the most popular things that I get a reaction from the audience about is the fact that we don't take corporate donations. That's something that people are really excited about. So while I offer a great campaign of issues, we're really representing people on the issues, the reason that we're able to do that is a large part because we don't take corporate money. Just a word about some of my opponents in the governor's race. An article recently came out that they are giving corporate contracts to people who donate to their campaigns. And the article in the Cincinnati Enquirer and the Cleveland Times laid out how much these donors, these corporate donors, are actually profiting per dollar that they give to the candidates. So that's something that you won't find in my race or in other races, that we're not taking kickbacks, and that is what makes us an anti-corruption party. Another thing I just wanted to talk about really quickly is what you can do on the local level. So yes, you can donate to the Coordinated Campaign Committee. You can join a local Green group or your statewide Green Party group. And if you don't have one, you can start a Green Party club in your area that will eventually become the new party infrastructure in your area. So even if you're not a registered Green and for whatever reason you can't become an official group right away, I would urge people, go ahead and start a Green Party club and start fundraising at that local level. Start raising awareness at that local level. And in 2020, when we have our presidential candidate, if you start now, you'll be ready to start supporting that presidential candidate. So lay the groundwork early, and you can also do bundling in your area. So maybe you have a group of 5 to 10 people, and it can start with actually just 1 or 2 people in your area. If you have 2 people who want to start a local Green Party group in your area, you can do that, and you build from the grassroots. That's how things get started. So start with your 2 people, build it to a group of 5 or 10 people. Have a house party, have a couple of events, go to your local library and have a meeting. And I think that what you'll find is that when people hear the Green Party message and they hear about our 10 key values and the fact that we're not taking corporate donations, that we're not wasting money and part of that system of fraud and corruption, that people are going to be really excited about that message. And when they hear that they can be a part of the Green Party, that they don't have to kind of pay their dues to the Democratic or Republican Party, that they don't have to, do the typical kind of selling out in order to have some political power, that they're going to want to be a part of the Green Party. It's something that empowers us at the individual level. It's something that allows us as individuals, as regular people, maybe people who don't have a father or an uncle who was elected, to get us started in politics. We're able to get started in politics really and make something out of nothing. And that's something that I'm so proud of, to be affiliated with the Green Party, is that we are able to make our dollars count, and we're able to create something out of nothing. But actually, we can't do everything on nothing and no dollars. While we're people funded and people powered, we do need your help, and a little bit goes a long way. So if you can donate $10, $50, that's going to help us. Basically, I'm using the campaign funds that we get on very basic canvassing supplies, like postcards to hand out to people as I'm canvassing, like t-shirts and sweatshirts like what I have on here with the Ohio Green Party logo. to get the word out. When we go to protests and public events, we want to be visible. So we do need a little bit of money for t-shirts and for banners to get the word out. I think that that is one of the biggest challenges, is that people just simply don't really know about the Green Party or that it exists. And we need to show everyone that we present a viable alternative, that we can organize people into a political force to challenge the corrupt two-party system, a system that's based on political hookups and privatization. So we are able to do that. And I just want to encourage everybody to get involved. If you can't volunteer, donate. If you can't donate, volunteer. And if you can't donate, maybe you can have an event and find some other people who can donate to us. So donate to the CCC. It's the Coordinated Campaign Committee Fund at the national level. Check out the GPUS website. And also, if you're interested in Ohio politics, right now we are fighting to maintain our ballot access. So my race, the governor's race, is a very important race to make sure that we're able to continue to run candidates up and down the ticket for the next 4 years. And we really are trying to reach out at a grassroots level and get those candidates running at every level for school board, for state representative, and for president in 2020. So please visit my website for more information and to donate to my campaign for governor. I'm Constance Gadell-Newton, running for governor of Ohio, and my website is www.constanceforohio.org/donate. Thank you.
Hi, Jill Stein here, coming to you from the annual national meeting in Salt Lake. And as you know, I was the presidential candidate in 2016 and in 2012. And I am absolutely having my socks blown off here by the incredible candidates that we're seeing from all across the country at all levels of office. From school committee candidates, we've got, you know, a real powerhouse. A few of them, like in Florida in particular, an amazing candidate who really deserves your support. An incredible candidate for legislature in Wisconsin. Unbelievable candidates for Congress in California who are running in two-way races. So these are winnable, and two of them, in fact, are challenging incumbents who are kind of sitting ducks, who do not represent their districts, who are holdovers, really, of the Democratic machine in low-income, of-color districts, and we have really candidates to die for. It's something we should all be proud of, that we have come to this tipping point moment when the American people are demanding new representation. Over 60% of Americans, it's a record high, over 60% are calling for a new independent political party that can actually represent we the people, not them the billionaires and the bankers and the war profiteers, which are unfortunately what the establishment parties are about. So people have gotten wind of that. 60%, over 60% are calling for a new political force. Over 71% of millennials are calling for a new political force. And there's a lot of Dem exiting going on there because the DNC is doing the same old, and supporting its candidates, which are what? You know, these are like former military and formal intelligence people who aren't exactly representing what we the people need. The Green Party candidates at all levels of office are standing up for health care as a human right for everybody through an expanded and improved single-payer system or a Medicare for all, standing up for education, quality education, not high-stakes testing, but education that teaches to the whole student for lifetime learning without privatization, without destroying our teachers' unions, which is what the Democratic and Republican visions of education are all about. We have candidates who are standing up for a Green New Deal, for the right to a job at a good living wage, and that those jobs are not only going to revive our economy, but also stop in its tracks this rush towards climate change and make the wars for oil obsolete. This is what the Green New Deal is all about. So we're at a breakthrough moment. We've kind of come to the end of the road with the political establishment and the exploding issues of empire and austerity and endless war. It's time for a party for the people, and it's time for the candidates of the people, and you can make that happen right now by going to the site on this website, going to that URL and making that donation right now. Let's get our candidates over the top. This is the breakthrough moment. This is that breakthrough moment that we've been waiting for. So let's make it happen. Let's power up green, and we do that through our candidates. So thank you for bringing us to this point, to this tipping point that we're at right now. We're really at the threshold of change. So let's make it happen. Thank you so much. Take care.
Howdy folks, welcome back to the first ever National Green Party Telethon. And with a hat tip to Gil Scott-Heron, the revolution will not be televised, but it can be brought to you over sources of non-corporately filtered news, information, and analysis like the Green Stream. And yes folks, we totally understand the irony of using a corporate medium like Facebook in order to do non-corporate political fundraising, but the Green Party is all about doing what it takes to build a peaceful, just, democratic, and ecologically sustainable society. I'll be your host for the last part of this telethon. I'm David Cobb. I had the privilege of helping to form the Green Party of Texas back in the 1990s. I managed Ralph Nader's campaign in 2000. I was the Attorney General candidate for the Green Party in 2002 in the state of Texas. I was the Green Party nominee in 2004. I managed Jill Stein's 2016 campaign. The point is, folks, I have a long history of Green Party organizing, and it is my pleasure to bring to you our next guest. Her name is Erin Camacho. She is running for state senate in Wisconsin in the 31st district. She's an indigenous woman, a powerful voice for the Green Party. Erin Camacho, welcome to the telethon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Erin, I have had the opportunity to get to know you a little bit, but our many viewers have not, so I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell folks a little bit about yourself at a personal level. Who are you, and why do you do what you do?
So So, as you heard, my name's Erin Camacho, and I was born and raised in Wisconsin, and I do what I do because it's our responsibility. Right? As human beings, we live in communities that are interconnected, far beyond state lines even. And it's our responsibility when we see an opportunity to help our community to stand up and play our role. And so that's my goal here in District 31. We are losing a Democratic senator. She's been in office for 3 terms here in District 31, and she's not running as an incumbent, and we have a lot at stake in our region of Wisconsin. We live in frac sand mining territory, and if people aren't familiar with that, frac sand is used within the hydraulic fracturing process, which perpetuates the petroleum extraction industry, the fossil fuel industry. So Wisconsin, in our district, plays a major role, and we need a person in office who's willing to not only protect our bluffs, protect our hills, but the people who live amongst all of that. And because I was born and raised in Wisconsin, I was taught, I guess, a little bit of Wisconsin ideals. I grew up learning about Governor Gaylord Nelson, who started out as a senator, who led the campaign for Earth Day in the 1970s. And I really see our heritage as Wisconsinites slipping away. And we have something good, something that we can be proud of in our heritage. Not only our value for the environment, but also our value for family farms, for rural agriculture, local agriculture, for ingenuity. We see the UW system, what they've done in decades past. But like I said, our heritage is slipping away, and we need a candidate who's willing to step up to the plate and fulfill our responsibility.
Well, I'll tell you, Erin, anybody who hears your voice will recognize right away that you're a native Wisconsinite. You also come from indigenous heritage, which gives you a unique perspective on the interconnectedness of ecology and human beings. Has that played a role in your decision to run as a Green?
Yes, in fact. So I'm 33, well, almost 33 years old. On August 28th, I'll be getting up there. But in my lifetime, I've been taught 2 different perspectives. And for a lot of that time, I was taught to view them in silos. It wasn't until this last decade and a half, I've been viewing my life holistically, and I think that is what brought me to the Green Party, because they view their politics, their social environment holistically, and that is something that resonates within myself. They also, in Wisconsin, were founded with indigenous roots, and I think that's something that we should expound upon. You see in many other parties within the United States, Indigenous people are brought in during presidential elections. Indigenous people or rights or concerns are brought in when maybe we'll tip the vote. But I think that within the Green Party, I've seen a solid, consistent stance to uphold our treaty rights, to defend our sovereignty, because I think the Greens understand that within defending our own Constitution, that comes along with it. We can't separate it. We can't live in silos. We need to be holistic in our approach to our democratic republic. And so, yes, my indigeneity has played a role, but so has my European hat.
Folks, you're watching the first ever Green Party fundraising telethon. So we are in the last hour, and if you, like me, are a bit of a procrastinator, now is your time to shine. Go to the website gp.org/give now and join me in making a donation to the National Green Party so we can continue to support fantastic candidates like Erin Camacho or Eric Stoltz or Andrew Saturn, who we've already heard from. You'll also be hearing from additional candidates today. Erin Camacho, I want to make sure to focus on you. Tell us what the key issues that you're running on as you run for state senate in the state of Wisconsin on the Green Party ticket.
So I'll keep it simple. It's access to government, American Indian rights, bringing our education, and then also our environment, of course, but also healthcare as a human right, livable wage, paying attention to our infrastructure and not stealing from the budgetary needs that our Wisconsinites have, and then also supporting our Wisconsin family farms. That, along with supporting the Wisconsin Green Party platform and the Green Party of the United States platform is my intention and my platform for this candidacy.
So, Erin, like so many other Green Party candidates, I am encouraged and inspired by your authenticity, your candor. I also got to say, as I hear you lay out the policies, these are just common sense approaches. Why do you think the Democrats and the Republicans only pay lip service to these things but don't enact the kind of policies that you and the Green Party represent?
Well, you'll see that within the party system, perceived party system that we have. It's called the two-party system, right? And we're more than that. And when we don't pay attention to our commonalities, the common sense ideas that we bring to the table, all the other parties are doing are pitting us against each other, right? Focusing on these hot-button issues that really divide us. And what we need is to come together because our commonalities far outweigh our differences. As human beings, we need basic things to survive. And if we're not taking care of that at a basic level within our legislature, within even our federal government, our nation isn't doing our job. Our nation isn't doing what it has promised us, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. People might be pursuing happiness. We might be holding on to some liberties right now, but we need to uphold life, whether that's human life, animal life, water is life. We need to be doing our job, and I think that's what the Greens are here to do. Thank you.
I'm so excited to hear you so seamlessly talk about the interconnection between human life, animal life, and ecosystems. Erin Camacho, I am so grateful for what you are doing there in Wisconsin. I'm grateful for you joining this telethon. You've got about 30 seconds. Any final thoughts you want to share with our viewers?
Yes, be courageous with your vote. Don't succumb to the fear. You know in your gut what is right. So when it comes down to November 6th and coming to that ballot box, do not waver. Thank you.
Folks, that was Erin Camacho, Green Party candidate for the state legislature in Wisconsin, Senate in District 31. That's on the western part of Wisconsin. She is a fearless leader of the Green Party, another of the young millennials who are up and coming. I want to encourage you to get involved in Erin Camacho's campaign. Get involved in any Green Party candidate's campaign. We've got more to come. I believe fearless executive producer Craig Seaman is standing by with a clip that he is going to actually be going now. I'll be watching the clip along with you. I don't even know what it is. Maybe Craig will introduce it. I can't introduce it now, but stick around. We've got other great candidates coming at you on the first ever Green Party Telethon. This is David Cobb. Stick around. I'll be right back with more guests.
Los Angeles is supposed to be the city of dreams, the city of opportunity. We and our families came here to work hard and make a better future for ourselves. But each month that future looks farther away. Real wages haven't risen in decades. We're struggling to cover the rent. We borrow money for college and spend the rest of our lives paying it off. We're afraid to go to the doctor because the medical bills could bankrupt us. My mom immigrated from the Philippines and raised me and my siblings. She worked tirelessly as a nurse and even battled cancer so we could follow our dreams. I organized with volunteers to fight for the rights of kids to have adequate school supplies, for residents to stay in their homes, and for people living on the streets of LA. It's easy to be anti-Republican and anti-Trump, but it isn't enough to turn this situation around. We need to acknowledge that when it comes to the Democrats, too few are fighting for the working class, and too many are serving their corporate donors. When our representatives in Congress take money from companies that make their profits off student debt, health insurance, and private prisons, it's clear that they don't work for the interests of the people. It's time for Los Angeles to become the city of opportunity again. It's time for all of us to pursue our dreams, supported by Medicare for all, universal rent control, tuition-free public college, full legal status for all immigrants, criminal justice reform, and the end of the corporate stranglehold on politics. It's not enough to be progressive. It's time to be revolutionary. It's time to vote for a better future. Los Angeles, vote for Kenneth Mejia on November 6th. My name is Kenneth Mejia, and I approve this message.
Hi, my name is Elijah Manley. I'm a member of the Green Party in the Green Party of Florida. I'm a Green because I'm a progressive and I believe in our core values of people, planet, and peace before profit. If you believe in people, planet, and peace before profit, please visit greenparty.org and contribute to our coordinated campaign committee. Because we need to have progressives and Greens in office, people who will contribute to bettering our education system so that our children can go to school, get the best education that they deserve, and lead into the future. Also, please contribute to my campaign. I'm running for school board in Broward County. You can visit my website at manleyforbroward.com and contribute to our campaign. Thank you, and I hope to see you on the ballot.
Hi, I'm Tim Willard, and I'm running for County Council at Large in Montgomery County, Maryland. Montgomery County has not elected anybody but Democrats for the last 15 years, and in spite of a veneer of progressivism, things have gone badly wrong. We're one of the richest counties in the country, and yet the average income is declining. People who work in the county can't afford to live there anymore. We're now a majority-minority community, and yet our schools are more segregated than they've ever been before. And the achievement gap is growing ever larger. And just 2 weeks ago, a black man was gunned down, an unarmed black man was gunned down in the streets of Montgomery County, even though he had nothing to do with the reason why the police were called. Montgomery County needs a change. Montgomery County needs a good second party, and I'm running to try to build that party. Please visit my webpage at timforcouncil.org and read my platform and donate money if you can. And please support the Maryland Green Party. We are running more candidates than we have ever run before, starting at the top with our candidate for Governor Ian Schlakman, and the Lieutenant Governor, the Reverend Annie Chambers. So please go to mdgreens.org and support them, and please support the National Party. We need your help. The country needs a good second party. Please support us. Thank you.
Hello Greens, my name is Joshua Harris, and I'm running for state delegate in the state of Maryland, in Baltimore City specifically. I come from the place where redlining was invented and is the definition of environmental irresponsibility, economic irresponsibility. And in 2016, I actually ran as a Green Party candidate for mayor here in Baltimore City, and we got more than 25,000 votes here, making the Green Party the official second party of Baltimore City. And in 2018, right now in the state delegates race, we have the opportunity to really change the narrative. Baltimore City has never seen an elected official other than a Democrat in more than 70 years. And if we can turn out and get out the vote and show people that they have a viable alternative that is committed to progressive policy solutions that will be environmentally sustainable, create jobs, and create economic opportunity in our city and in our state, we have a real opportunity to win. So again, my name is Joshua Harris, and I'm asking you to stand with me and to support as we go in 2018 to show the world that we can and we will elect independent thinkers who are strong, progressive, policy-minded individuals to change the narrative and the shape of Baltimore City and of Maryland as a state. So I'm asking you to visit my website, www.harrisforbaltimore.com, and make a donation to help us win in 2018, November 6th. I need your support. We can do this, but we'll only do this together with your help. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is David Jeang, and this is my friend Chili, who taking care of while her owners are away. Say hi, Chili. I'm running for Maryland's 19th state Senate on the Green Party ticket because there aren't enough candidates on the field. Many people consider this county to be a one-party county, and as a result, many issues are barely touched or overlooked. And that's concerning because there are many of the issues overlooked are issues that need a critical eye or have simple fixes. Nobody talks about community broadband. Nobody talks about public banking. Nobody's even thinking too much about the environmental and privacy risks cell towers pose on where they're placed in our community. And as bad as these things would be to any average human, if our quality of life deteriorates because these policies are overlooked, these adorable little friends of ours will be exponentially affected. And more importantly, as I've canvassed, about a third of the people I've met that didn't even know the Green Party existed, and that's the biggest issue of all. When it comes to enacting positive, progressive change, too many people want to take the fight to the inside, and nobody is brave enough to stand on the outside. But standing on the outside is important because it gives the two-pronged approach, and power concedes nothing without a proper threat.
My name is Adam Guymon. I am from Salt Lake City, Utah. I am part of the Green Party of Utah. I am disabled, and I am running for Salt Lake County at large, seat 3, and I want to make sure that I can help other people with disabilities and even other people without disabilities in the county of Salt Lake City, as well as I want to make sure that issues that are not always noticed by many people but yet are always left behind by the other two parties. The other parties are willing to say that they'll help people with disabilities, but they never really do. They only cover a couple of things and then they don't care any longer. I'm myself I'm on a low fixed income, and I'm running because I want to make sure I make a difference, because I believe that disabled lives do matter. It doesn't matter what color your skin is, it doesn't matter where you come from, a disability doesn't care about that. It only cares about what it wants, and I want to make sure that disability rights are number one in this race, to help make sure that everyone's treated fairly. You can donate, well, you can visit my site, my Facebook site. I haven't yet been able to get a electronic form of donation, but you can always donate to the Green Party of Utah, and they would be willing to help if that was what it takes. But it's Adam Guymon, Guymon, the number 4, Salt Lake CO at large 3 write-in. I am a write-in candidate, so I'm not on the ballot, but I'm just a regular Joe, just like any and every one of you. I'm not going to spend money that you donate to me or that you want to give to me for this campaign on expensive clothes. I'm just like each and every single other person out there. One of the things I would like to say is there are issues out there, such as for people with disabilities that rent in an apartment. One of the issues that I've seen is, even if you can get yourself into a wheelchair accessible apartment, a lot of amenities at apartment complexes are not accessible. So if there's a pool or a hot tub, they don't actually legally have to put a lift or any accessible adaptations so that you can use the same, but yet you are actually paying for those same amenities. There's many more things out there, and that many more issues out there that we need to make sure that are noticed. And again, thank you, and I really hope that I can have this opportunity to serve we the people. Peace.
Hi, my name is Glenn Ross. I'm a long-time East Baltimore resident here. I've been a community advocate for like over 40 years. I also was a dedicated Democrat, but I got tired of the games that was being played here and not really addressing the social injustice of people here in East Baltimore. Andy and I are interested in forming a stakeholders coalition where we can bring people together to learn to work together, not to be separate and not to work in silos, or going after the same social justice problems, after the same funding. Here in East Baltimore, I'm known as the urban environmentalist. I created the Urban Environmental Toxic Tour to better educate the community about how our living environment affects our health. I also take these tours and show folks where these toxic sites are and why it is affecting their health. So I show a lot of environmental racism. I've done these tours throughout Baltimore City, but I really concentrate here in East Baltimore, and I concentrate in between the triangles of the best medical institution in the world, Johns Hopkins, the East Baltimore campus, Bayview, and the Homewood campus. And people are just amazed to see all the environmental racism, all the serious health problems that's really affecting us here in East Baltimore. But I have been blocked from doing certain things to deal with social injustice here in East Baltimore. So I switched back over to green. I believe in their core values. I believe in what they stand for. So my 40-some years experience, I want to put on the table to run as a Green Party candidate. I am a coalition builder. I've put together 2 coalitions that were very successful here in Baltimore City and Southeast Baltimore. And I would just like to share the same experience that I've had all these years, and also form a 45th Legislative Community Stakeholders Coalition here in the 45th. So Andy, Ellis, and I, we plan to win this next election as Green Party candidates.
Howdy, folks, and welcome back to the first ever National Green Party Telethon. I'm your host, David Cobb. It is my pleasure now to go across the country all the way to Maryland. We'll be joining by a slate of not 1, not 2, but 3 of the fantastic candidates from the Maryland Green Party. Before we get to them, I want to give a big shout out and a thank you to Lou from Detroit, Michigan, who donated. Nadia from San Jose, California. Terrence from Fresno, California, Owen from Asheville, North Carolina, and Ann from Brooklyn to New York, Lynn from Asheville, North Carolina. So the donations are coming in all over the country. Now so here's a challenge. Let's get some East Coast money coming in as we turn to Ian Schlakman, who is running for governor in the state of Maryland. Ian, tell us who you are, a little bit about yourself, and what the issues you're running on.
Sure. Thanks for having us on. Such a great telethon. I'm Ian Schlakman. I'm running for governor here in Maryland. To my right is Reverend Annie Chambers, my lieutenant governor candidate. And we are just thrilled to be running with the Green Party. You know, here in Baltimore, we've had decades of Democratic control. And I don't know if you've heard, all you've probably heard about the Baltimore area, the greater Baltimore area, is that crime is wildly out of control. The city's sinking into itself. We have underinvestment. It's absolutely terrible. So I don't know how much you've heard about what's going on nationwide here in the Maryland governor's race. But basically, we're running against 2 millionaires. One who is a real estate millionaire, who is a Republican, and the other one who is a venture capitalist. It's a very interesting race because I think there's been a lot of use of the socialist label out there. You know, Reverend Chambers and myself, we're proudly socialist. We know what that means. That means solid, good infrastructure investment coming from the federal government, universal health care, and what we're running on, basic income. Yet one of the Democratic candidates in our race, when called a socialist, shouted a curse word back at the reporter that asked him if he was a socialist. So it's a very interesting time to be running in the governor's race here in Maryland, let me tell you. Like I said, we're calling for a basic income, and those that are listening live today can head over to the website, Schlakman.com, where we just put up our big basic income policy proposal. I don't have enough time to mention it today, but basically we're talking about doing a millionaire's tax here in Maryland to then fund a basic income all over the state of Maryland. And boy, do we need it here in Baltimore City. We have an absolute poverty problem throughout the state, not just here in Baltimore, but in rural areas as well. We have activists across the state.
Go ahead.
We have activists across the state who are running down ticket, and we're happy to have one here today that I'll introduce in just a moment. And we're doing trainings, down ticket trainings for candidates all across the state to make sure that they know how to run for office and win. And in our race, we're running essentially to get ballot access. The Democrats and Republicans have written a terrible law that says we don't get at least 1% in this election, Green Party could be off the ballot here in Maryland. We got to make sure that doesn't happen. So I'm so thrilled to be on the telethon today. And with that, I'm going to give it over to my running mate, a civil rights legend here in Baltimore City, Reverend Annie Chambers.
Yes, good evening. I am proud to be a part of the telethon. And the reason I'm running is because today's my birthday, really, and
I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'm 77 years old.
Yes.
But I'm running because we need to make change in this country, really, but especially here in Maryland. And I'm running because for years I voted Democratic, and we're here in Baltimore suffering, and in this state we are suffering because no housing, lack of housing, homelessness, the lack of education for our children, and the Democrats have given us the same old, same old. And may I say that I was a Bernie Sanders delegate at the Democratic Convention, and this where I really got disenchanted and walked out of the convention, walked out because I got to see firsthand what the party was really about, and it wasn't about people. And I was, fortunate enough to get connected with the Green Party, which gave me something to say to people. Well, this is where you should go. You should vote, and I'm talking about the last presidential election with Jill Stein's, with Dr. Jill Stein. But my thing has been since then to educate and show people that there's a third and another alternative to the Democrats and Republicans, because they don't feel they have anywhere, especially people I work with, which are poor working class people, and there are a lot of people of color. And so we now know that there is a party that we can work in and that we can build. So I begin to call in the Green Party the party of the people, the party for the people. And so that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm running. And I know that we have to get 1%, but I'm fighting that we make a better showing than 1%, so that, that's why I talk to the young people, I talk to the people that's in front, and, that needs it. So thank you very much for having me today.
Well, Reverend Chambers, thank you for what you're doing, and happy birthday to you. I want to make sure that we hear from your colleague, Glenn Ross, who's running for Maryland Assembly Delegate. Mr. Ross, welcome to the telethon.
Well, thank you very much, and I echo everything that Ms. Annie Chambers has said. Annie Chambers is one of my mentors when I started getting involved in community work over 40 years. I've been in East Baltimore all my life. I'm 69 years young, single parent with two children, and I've been very successful. Andy Ellis and I are running for House of Delegates for the 45th Legislative District here in Baltimore City. as Green Party candidates. We both have histories of years of work of fighting social injustice on many levels here in Baltimore City. Andy is more or less the policy guy. I'm more or less the community guy. That's why we make a good fit, and we're running together on a slate to change the game that has been played on us here in East Baltimore. I come from a neighborhood that family values, community pride, and spiritual guidance. Every politician out of East Baltimore grew up in the same neighborhood as I, and somewhere along the way, they done lost their footing. They have lost their footing. They have sold East Baltimore out. They have given East Baltimore institutions like Johns Hopkins and other investors a blank check to do what they want to do in East Baltimore. We have so many decayed properties. The lack of libraries, resources. There's nothing here. In 2007, we were successful in doing an exhibit at the Contemporary Arts Museum, and this was the title: Investigating the Creation of the Ghetto and how it's connected to the prison industrial complex. We showed how poor neighborhoods and ghettos are created. Hopkins get blamed for everything that goes wrong in our neighborhoods because they're infringing in our communities. But we need to look at these most powerful politicians in Annapolis who are changing regulations, changing zoning, so Hopkins can expand while neighbors are decaying. My home office, which we're in right now, is an office for Green Party candidates. This neighborhood is the most deadliest neighborhood in Baltimore City, and you got to ask the question why. And we have the most powerful politicians in seat in Annapolis. We need to break these disconnects by changing this game.
You know, I
just want to thank you for that.
Thank you all three for not only running, but also the clear articulation of how ordinary people need the Green Party. You know, like you, Annie, I began my political career as a Democrat. I worked on Jesse Jackson's campaign in '84 and '88, Jerry Brown in '92. I came to realize that the leadership of the Democratic Party was part of the problem. Rank and file members of the Democratic Party are infinitely more progressive, but we have been sold out by the corporate leadership of that party. So I'm going to make an appeal to anyone listening. If you consider yourself a progressive who wants to support the kind of social justice policies that Ian Schlakman, Reverend Annie Chambers, and Glenn Ross and Andy Ellis represent in Maryland, no matter where you are, you need to get involved in the Green Party. And if you're watching right now, I'm going to give you an opportunity to join our prior donors. Make a donation, www.gp.org/give now. Thank you again for joining us, and thank you for being on this telethon. Craig,
yes,
take it away to the very next segment. We got more to come.
Thank you so much.
In fact, it is our mutual dedication to the 10 key values that has led us to develop, through consensus, a platform which embodies our vision for a better future. Dr. Jill Stein advocated for this vision as the Green New Deal during her 2012 campaign, and when Bernie Sanders adopted many similar positions, we could all see how widely supported they were. Finally, we could know that we were not alone in our outrage and heartache. That these ideas could only gain attention if a Democrat uttered them is a testament to the gatekeeping function of the media. But in this year's perfect political storm, daylight is peeking through. On this 71st anniversary of the Hiroshima bombing, we ponder the direction of a nation that continues to justify and glorify militarism while it wages an endless war on terror that only creates more terrorists. Unlike the DNC, chants of no more war are welcome here. All right, but we're here to do more today than just chant. Hopefully they can hear us now. We are here to give the gift of a waiting political vehicle from an older generation of activists that understood change was not possible inside the major parties to the youth and social movements of this age. Don't let the establishment swindle you out of the leverage you could gain by growing the Green Party now. Some voices will tell you to wait or to start over, but I say they seek to rob you of a political tool you have within your grasp. Instead, use it to indicate clearly that corporations are not people, money is not speech, and the time to realign our political priorities is at hand. Whether we come out of this election with greater ballot access and public campaign financing, or whether we paint the White House green in 2016, the Green Party of the U.S. will only come out of this election stronger. The degree of our success will be up to you. If we can get our message out to independents in this country, and a generation burdened by student debt comes together, if the working class and communities of color express solidarity with one another, we could build a winning coalition. I believe people can change their minds in an instant. With all of the money poured into political campaigns, the establishment parties can barely motivate a third of eligible voters to participate. We can give disenfranchised voters a reason to vote. We can give people of conscience a once-in-a-lifetime chance to stand for justice and human dignity. We have to acknowledge our hypocrisy in espousing liberty and justice for all when the foundations of our nation are native genocide and slavery, and when we now have the largest prison population in the world. Without acknowledging how far we are from our ideals, we can't begin to correct the situation and heal our social wounds. Our authoritarian culture legitimizes the use of force against marginalized people, and that is why we must declare that Black and brown lives matter, because we reject justifying misconduct and abuse of authority by dehumanizing victims. Our guiding priorities must become people, peace, and planet over profit. We have a choice now to follow the hollow political charade into oblivion, or to invest ourselves in a politics of courage. The convergence of crises we are facing make it urgent that we resolve our systemic problems while we retain the capacity to do so. As a mother motivated to deliver a livable future, I believe all further delay decreases our chances of surviving climate disruption. We need economic democracy that facilitates prudent choices in the public interest and that is participatory rather than predatory. Corporate interests are well represented, and so government must protect the public against rapacious exploitation, not remain its tool of enforcement. You begin to see the failure of our economic system when you notice fundamental disconnections: homelessness amid vacant and derelict housing, unemployment amid unmet social needs, hunger amid plenty. Needed trade is stifled for lack of an electronic fiat currency, while huge quantities of the money supply have hemorrhaged out of our economy and into offshore tax havens. Or another example, the short-sighted extraction and speculation that is environmentally or socially destructive, but because the cost is externalized, the activity still makes economic sense for the business actors. But I have faith in the younger generations. Having grown up with technology, they understand the need to reboot a complex system that has become corrupt. Having experienced inequality and the school-to-prison pipeline firsthand, they know how hard it is for people to scrape together a living from part-time jobs or even breathe in this society. Youth are now and will continue to suffer the brunt of our society's systemic failures. And while they have come of age in a historically bewildering time, I believe they are ready to take control of their future. Together, we will build a world that works for all of us. Economic participation should be a human right. Greens understand that it is less expensive to meet basic human needs than to criminalize poverty. We could create a shared prosperity, stimulating our economy with the prioritized transition to renewable energy and fulfilling unmet domestic needs with savings from our bloated military budget. We would have better security at home if fewer of our military resources were deployed around the world in the interest of imperialism. We would no longer squander our resources on death and destruction, but would instead undertake a peace offensive to de-escalate and heal our international relationships. With proven common sense programs such as single-payer health care and free higher education, Greens seek to build consensus across the political spectrum and find a new way forward based on our party's 4 pillars. We invite you to join us in this political evolution revolution as we overgrow the system.
Welcome back to the first ever Green Party National Telethon. I'm your host, David Cobb. Want to thank AB from Fort Wayne, Indiana for calling in with a donation, and Linda from Ventura, California, Justin from Westheimer, Colorado, Scott from San Marcos, Texas. And I want to ask you, the current viewer, that's right, you, to join us now, www.gp.org/give now and make a donation to this historic telethon. We're going to turn now to longtime peace and social justice activist Howie Hawkins. He's one of the founders of the entire Green Party movement in this country. He's now running for governor in the state of New York. Howie Hawkins, welcome to the Green Party Telethon.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So, Howie, I've known you for many years, and people who have been deeply involved in peace and social justice work will know you. But for the viewers who may just now be getting to know you, I'm going to push you. I know you're often a very humble person, but I'm going to actually ask you to give us, because you've got a hell of an activist resume. Tell us about some of the work that you've done as an individual trying to create a new world.
Well, I'm a child of the 60s in the San Francisco Bay Area, in a multiracial community, multiracial extended family, my cousins, and civil rights was a huge issue. I have half Japanese cousins. They're in Virginia in the 50s. We're all headed toward kindergarten, and they were going to be sent to the colored schools. They were Army brats. We had another set of cousins in Virginia, white cousins. They were going to the white school. So even that early, I knew this was crazy. They got sent off to Germany and eventually Okinawa. So it's in my mind and it's around the community. In 1964, Ronald Reagan, not yet governor, campaigning on behalf of the Republican Party against open housing, a fair housing law, referendum to get it repealed in California. Meanwhile, I say, well, I'm from a Republican family, but they ain't the party of Abe Lincoln anymore, not for civil rights. See what the Democrats do. They had a choice between the Freedom Democrats and the Dixiecrats at the 64 convention, and they chose the Dixiecrats. So I'm 12 years old asking, where's my party? Which I later learned John Lewis had asked at the March on Washington the year before, representing the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. My party turned out to be the Peace and Freedom Party. Now it's 4 years later. I'm worried about the draft. I eventually did get drafted. So peace in Vietnam, freedom is the civil rights slogan. And that evolved into the People's Party 72. Then we had the Citizens Party 80. And I got invited to a meeting in 1984 in St. Paul, where we started organizing around green. And that's the one that stuck. I don't know if we've been the greatest organizers, but at the grassroots, people have picked up on it, and we've sustained it now for over 30 years. And whatever kind of independent left we're able to establish that can contend for power, what we got now in the Green Party is definitely going to be part of it. So along the way, besides pushing for an independent third party, I've been involved in many movements, labor, peace, the environment. I've been arrested, I don't know how many times, from, the Seabrook occupation against nuclear power to recently sitting outside Governor Cuomo's office. Our slogan was "Walk the Talk," because he's not acting on climate action that we need in the state, which is central to my campaign now for governor against him.
So, folks, you're watching the first ever Green Party National Fundraising Telethon. I want to thank Lori from Houston, Texas, who just gave us another donation. So thank you, Lori. And I want to encourage all of you. This is the last segment. You've got about 10 minutes in order to join this historic effort as a donor. We know we've already had 676 shares. We know we've reached over 22,000 people. You are watching, so I'm going to push you to donate. So, Howie, your activist credential is long and deep for both peace, justice, and environmental action. Tell us about your current campaign for governor in New York. What are the issues that you're running on?
Well, I'm running around the same theme that I've run on twice before. And we established a green ballot line by getting 50,000 votes in 2010. In 2014, we got 5% of the vote, jumped over Working Families Party, jumped over the Independence Party. We're now the fourth ballot party on the ballot. There are 8, but only 3 candidates created parties. We have fusion in New York. So while there are 8 ballot lines, the Democratic and Republican candidates created the other 7. And we created the Green Party, the Green Line. And we run our own candidates. And I've campaigned each one of these campaigns on the idea of a Green New Deal, which to me is fulfilling the New Deal as Franklin Roosevelt laid it out in his last State of the Union address, 1945. He said we need a second, and people began to call it an economic Bill of Rights, which would include a job guarantee, the right to a job, and if you can't work, the right to an income above poverty, comprehensive health care, a decent home, a good public education. And then we call it a Green New Deal because we face an ecological crisis, and particularly the climate crisis. So we want 100% clean energy by 2030. That is the sum of the Green New Deal that we're campaigning on. And last time that 5% forced Cuomo to compete for our votes because he wants to run for president. He wanted to roll up the vote, get more votes than his father, Mario Cuomo, got, and he didn't. He actually got less votes in 2014. We got nearly 200,000 votes. So he looked at what we were demanding. We were demanding a ban on fracking. He did that. We were demanding paid family leave. He did that. We were demanding a $15 minimum wage. He's moved that way. We were demanding tuition-free college education at public universities. And he said he did that. He really didn't. But we forced him to come our way. So this time, our slogan is demand more. And that means 3 things. One is more reforms like that by getting a big vote. Another is, like Ralph Nader says, we got to raise our expectations of government. New York government is corrupt as hell. We've had the Speaker of the House, a Democrat, headed off to prison. We have the leader of the Senate, a Republican, headed off for prison. We have all of Cuomo's cronies headed off for prison. I mean, it's like a preview of what we're going to see with the Trump administration. They just haven't got Cuomo yet. And, you know, this is just unacceptable. People are being convicted for bribery, extortion, bid rigging. It's just unbelievable. So we got to clean up the government. And then more than piecemeal reforms, we're demanding system change. We need to move to an economic democracy, or what we call ecological socialism, where the people own the basic means of production and manage it democratically, because that's the only way we're going to make the transition to 100% clean energy. We can't rely on ExxonMobil and these private IOUs, investor-owned utilities. And you go right down the line, you know, from the telecoms and broadband to health insurance. We need to revitalize the public sector, both services and infrastructure. These natural monopolies should be operated at cost for public benefit, not for private profit. So along those lines, we're also calling for a public bank, which will cut the cost of financing the infrastructure we need to revitalize in half. And so those are the things we're talking about. And we see these so-called, a number of liberals are calling themselves socialists now because the millennials really are interested in the topic. So we've got suddenly a lot of Democrats in New York calling themselves socialists. And we're saying, well, that's the old-fashioned liberalism, but fine, let's have a discussion about socialism. So I think we've moved the debate, too.
So, Howie Hawkins, one of the things that I've appreciated about you is your consistent approach to what economic democracy or socialism or eco-socialism means. You've been a red-green since I've known you, and I suspect a red-green from well before I knew you, so for several decades. So can you talk about the difference between what true ecological socialism means and would be versus the kind of fake liberalism that we're seeing from so many of the leadership of the Democratic Party? What's the difference?
Well, I'm not thinking so much of the leadership, but of the Bernie Sanders and the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortezes who have embraced the socialist label when they're really talking about the old New Deal programs, which are things socialists would support. The problem is they're not taking on the concentration of wealth in the hands of a small capitalist elite. And that concentrated economic power translates into concentrated political power. So we have won reforms in the New Deal, like we had the Progress Works administration that was putting unemployed people who couldn't get work in the private sector to work on public works and services. And that program was abandoned because the capitalists still had the power. They didn't really want that because they don't want a tight labor market. They want a loose labor market so the wages are depressed and their profits are up. So the step we want to take further is to deconcentrate the wealth, and where it's large-scale enterprise, we share in ownership and management democratically, and that way we're all free and equal in a real democratic republic. You can't have a plutocracy or an oligarchy of wealth. You end up with a plutocracy politically, and that's what the socialists are saying. You got to go beyond liberalism.
So thank you, Howie Hawkins. I'm going to come back to you, but before we do, I want to thank Andy from Baltimore, Maryland, who came in with a donation. Deanna, who came in from Salt Lake City. Michael from Syracuse, New York. I got to say, Michael O'Neill, thank you so much. Michael is the campaign manager for Howie Hawkins. He executive produces A Green Way Forward. He is a true leader and digging into his own pocket. And here is my challenge to you, the viewer. We are down to the last minutes. We can go over our stated goal if you call in now. Craig Seaman, I'm going to beg you for just another few minutes with Howie Hawkins so that people can call in and donate. Will you give us that time, Craig Seaman? He says, Howie Hawkins, I'm going to ask you to actually describe a little more about the Green New Deal. One of the things that I've been, and thank you, William from South Carolina, who just donated. Keep those calls coming in. Keep those websites heated up. Howie Hawkins, one of the things that I was really appreciative of you in the Green New Deal during the Stein campaign is how you articulated that we need to actually change the unemployment office to a local community employment office. Tell us what you mean by that.
Well, this really comes from the Works Progress Administration and some other jobs programs that were set up during the Great Depression. And those programs operated with 90% federal funding, 10% local funding, so you didn't have scams going on locally. The people had to buy in, put some skin in the game. And the projects were designed by local governments because the people locally know what the priorities are, what the needs are of each community. And then the responsibility of the federal government is to fill the gap between what the private sector can provide and the people who are looking for work and can't get work. And then you put them to work meeting community-defined needs. And that's the whole idea. And this is a program that really has to be done nationally because part of the way it's economically feasible is that you save costs in federal safety net programs that go to people who are unemployed, like unemployment compensation, food stamps, housing subsidies, heating subsidies, all those safety net programs. When you get a living wage job in one of these guaranteed jobs in the public sector, you don't have to pay people for those programs. So that saves costs, the net cost of this program. By some estimates, they might even pay for itself if they get into producing goods and services that would be sold on the market to make a profit for the enterprise. Now that gets touchy. The New Deal did that a little bit, and business beat them back, so they had to stop. For a while, they were opening up factories that had closed, and they were competing with the factories that were still open. So that's the kind of thing we need to look at.
That's fantastic. And what I love about that, Howie Hawkins, Green Party gubernatorial candidate from New York, is that you're describing a way to nationalize the resources that literally allow local communities to make the determination on what's in their best interest, what kind of infrastructure they would like to see, where they would like to see labor actually invested in recreating society. Craig Seaman, I got to tell you, I'm going to ask for more time because Howie Hawkins is bringing the money in. Let me tell you, we've already got additional donations. Michael from Michigan, thank you for that. Adam from Salt Lake City, Terry from Annapolis, Indiana, Christian from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Timothy from Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. So thank you so much, folks, for all of those donations. I'm going to tell you we are literally in the last minutes. If you want to make a donation to the first ever Green Party online telethon, this is your chance. Procrastinators, it's your time to shine. Get on the website, www.gp.org/give now. Make a donation as we come in. Howie Hawkins, tell us, in your estimation, what is actually going on with the ecological crisis? What is your best sense of how we can transition into an eco-socialist platform? Is there a way for us to do it at the local level, and what's the Green Party's role in that?
Well, what I'm focused on is New York State. New York, if it was a nation, would be the 11th largest GDP in the world. It'd be bigger than Russia, bigger than Australia, bigger than Spain. If we can set an example in New York, we can show the rest of the world what we got to do. Now, the climate science tells us industrial economies like New York have to get to 100% clean energy, net zero carbon emissions by 2030 if we're going to stay below 2 degrees Celsius rise in temperatures, above which the global warming accelerates in their best estimate, and we're into a real catastrophic situation. So that's why we're pushing for 100% clean energy by 2030. And if we don't do that, I mean, people think, oh, we'll get some more hot weather. Yep, we'll get more hot weather, you know, more extreme storms. But we're really talking about losing prime food producing areas to drought and heat where it's so hot, humans can't live there. I mean, within decades, the whole tropical belt may become uninhabitable. Huge countries like India. So, you know, we have a big immigration issue now. It's just going to get worse if we don't stabilize the climate. So how do we make the transition? We cannot rely on just incentives and regulations of these big energy companies. They've blown it. They've known climate change was coming. They suppress the knowledge. And then they buy the politicians that say it's a hoax. I mean, it's a really dangerous situation. That's why we're saying we need to have a public energy system in New York where we have a democratically managed system. And, you know, the idea of federalism where the planning starts from below at the bottom, each community. And we have a bill that actually Greens helped drafted to get to 100% clean energy by 2030. Requires every government in the state of 50,000 or more to have a local climate action plan. And we build the plan from the bottom up that way and coordinate it. And we've got benchmarks in there for when you can't build unless it's carbon zero, you know, buildings, when you can't sell a vehicle that's not a zero emission vehicle. I mean, it's a very robust bill, but we can't do it if the energy decisions are left in private hands. We have to socialize or democratize it. So that's got to become part of the climate change agenda, which is what the eco-socialists have been saying. System change, not climate change.
Folks, you're watching the first ever National Green Party Telethon. I'm your host, David Cobb. We're speaking now with our final guest, Howie Hawkins, running for governor in the state of New York. He is a longtime peace, social justice, and environmental activist. I want to thank Richard from Fresno, California, who came in with a donation. I want to thank everybody who shared this. We are up to 715 shares. Many tens of thousands of people have already been reached. We don't know how many unique views, but we do know that this is working. So we are literally in the closing minutes. I'm going to ask you one more time, go to the website, www.gp.org, give now, and make a donation. Here's the final opportunity, Howie Hawkins, your final thoughts, and make sure you tell us your website as you close us out.
Well, let me tell folks why New York's important to the whole National Green Party. We need ballot lines in order to run a presidential candidate, which helps us get ballot lines so people can run locally. And New York is one of the biggest states. We need 50,000 votes, and we've got that twice in the last 2 elections. We expect to get it this time. What we really like to do is at least get into 3rd place ahead of all these so-called fusion lines, which are really 2nd and 3rd, 4th lines for the major party candidates. And so the next one in our eyesights is the conservatives. We passed working families, we passed independents. Really, we'd like to pass at least the Republicans. This is a 2-to-1 Democratic state. Beating the Democrats is a high order, but I think our platform stands with the people much more than Cuomo's does. I've stood with the people over my career. He comes right out of the political establishment with his father. So I think if we get the opportunity to be heard by all the people, we have a real chance. Now, our website is howiehawkins.org. And you can see our whole platform, all the news releases, the news coverage. You can donate, volunteer, and get involved. So people should check that out and give us a little help.
So, folks, my name is David Cobb. I had the honor of being the Green Party nominee for president in 2004, managed Jill Stein's campaign in 2016, and like Howie Hawkins, am committed to building economic democracy. And whether you call that socialism, autonomy, or whether you call that, whatever you call that, at the end of the day, what we're saying is we, the people, have the right to actually determine how to organize our society. If you believe that, then join me and Howie Hawkins and Ian Schlakman, Reverend Annie Chambers, Glenn Ross, all the people that have been on this telethon so far. I want to remind you, and thank you, David in Rochester, New York, who just called in with a donation. David, I happen to know, is actually where Howie Hawkins is. So, Howie, your own people are donating to the National Green Party. I'm not surprised at all. Folks, this is not the end of this telethon, but it is the end of my portion of this telethon. Craig Seaman says that we have lots of other candidates to hear from. So I want to sign off and say thank you to Howie Hawkins for coming in as a guest. I want to thank every one of our donors so far. I want to thank you, the viewer. Stay with this telethon. We got another 20 minutes here to come. Make sure to continue to like, comment, and share this video. Peace.
Hi, my name is Diane Moxley. I'm a proud member of the Green Party, and I'm running for Congress in the 7th Congressional District in New Jersey. I am running to be a voice of the people. I will not take any big money corporate donations, so I will represent the interest of the voters. Our plan seeks to implement free public higher education, student loan debt forgiveness, improved Medicare for all, a plan to really combat climate change, and create a Green New Deal by building a renewable energy infrastructure that will actually create jobs. Right now, we have entirely too much of our money going to a $717 billion military budget. That money can be used to the benefit of the people. Please help me, and any small donations you can give will help people power this campaign. The world can't wait. The environment can't wait. We can't wait. We need a green wave in 2018. And if you can donate at moxleyforus.com/donate and support your green candidates across the country this year. Thanks for your time.
Here's $5. Now, today's money, it may not get you very far. You actually may spend more money on a burger and fries, but this little $5 bill, this may help you, this may help us sever the ties with Wall Street. This $5 with everybody involved can help separate us with the lobbyists, with the big corporate money, the corporate boards we got to answer to. This $5, everybody together can contribute $5 to contribute to the Green Party next month in August. We have a big fundraiser right here on Facebook Live. Everybody show up, please. Just $5.
Hello, this is George Wolfe, the Green Party candidate running for Secretary of State here in the state of Indiana. I am now sitting in the Center of Peace and Conflict Studies here at Ball State University, where I was Director of Peace Studies prior to my retirement. Those of us in the Indiana Green Party are so pleased that the national office is holding this Green Wave Telethon fundraiser. In Indiana, we are working hard to gain ballot access. Indiana is only one of 5 states which does not have ballot access in the U.S. As of now, I am a write-in candidate, but I have nevertheless been invited to participate in town hall meetings alongside the Democratic and Libertarian candidate. Our plans are to utilize social media to the fullest extent by boosting posts on Twitter and Facebook, targeting specific populations in our state, and creating ads to explain how to vote for me as a write-in candidate. The funds we raise from this fundraising telethon will all go towards this publicity and educational effort. I recommend you go to my website, wolfforindiana.com, and view some of my platform videos, read some of the articles I've written, and listen to several of the speeches that I've given in the state over the past several months. You can click on the Donate tab as well to contribute directly to my campaign through my website. Please help us gain ballot access here in Indiana and make history by electing me to be the first Green Party Secretary of State in Indiana. Thank you for watching.
Hey folks, I'm Lou Novak, a proud member of the Green Party of Michigan. One of the reasons I'm a member of the minor party, the Green Party, is because the major parties have adopted money is free speech policy. As most of us who are watching this know, that's not the case, that our votes are what should be determining policy, not dollars. Fortunately, at this point, we still need those dollars in order to get our campaigns going and get our candidates in office. I would ask each of you to consider not only donating yourself, but reach out to your friends and family and ask them to also donate, either to your local candidates, your statewide candidates, or even the national candidates that will be running. Another opportunity is to donate to the Coordinated Campaign Committee, who will then determine which candidates they will target funds to. I'd like to thank right now my mother, who has written a check to the Green Party, and urge all of you again to reach out to your family and friends and help fund Green Party candidates. Thank you.
I'm Michael White. I'm running for governor of the state of Wisconsin as a Green. So I'm here to tell you that if you're watching this, you're a nationwide Green. There are 200 people running for office, for local and state offices, and they need your support. Yes, I want you to donate to my campaign, mwhiteforgov.com in Wisconsin. But more importantly, I want you to donate to the Green Party US CCC, Coordinated Campaign. They have a campaign fund. All of the candidates across the country need your help. We don't have PACs. We don't take corporate money. We are people funded. That means you. Every small donation to the Green Party US, to the Coordinated Campaign Committee, to the campaign fund for candidates is going to help all of the candidates of the Green Party across the state. In my state, we have governor and lieutenant governor. We also have my colleague, Erin Camacho, who is running for state senate in a heavily Latino and Native American district. She needs help. Every dollar we can get her. We need to help each other. We need to help the party. We need to grow the party. That depends on you giving money to the party. Please donate. remember the party, stand up and support the party, and support our efforts to support each other. Thank you.
My name is Madelyn Hoffman. I'm running for U.S. Senate in New Jersey as the Green Party candidate, and I'm running against one of the most entrenched Democratic incumbents in Senator Menendez, who has a war chest already of $6.4 million. And that $6.4 million is going to support an agenda that for the last number of years, I think he's been in Congress for something like 25, 26 years. Over that time, apart from one vote here or there, Senator Menendez has supported wars all across the Middle East. He continues to support what's happening in Yemen, and he also, and one of the reasons why is he takes money from AIPAC and NORPAC. So the big lobbyists support him, as does Big Pharma. My campaign, no corporate support whatsoever. It's the same as with any Green Party campaign around the country. We take no money from major corporations. We take no money from the big lobbyists down in Washington. We stand behind our issues. In my case, it's world peace, not world war. It's to take the $716 billion we spend annually and turn it instead into affordable housing without gentrification, to turn it into college-free tuition, tuition-free college, college-free tuition, tuition-free college, to turn it into public transportation, to turn it into so many things that our communities want. Oh, public education is a major part of this, of what the country and many of our communities need. And instead of funneling off $3 trillion or more in the last, since 9/11, even a small fraction of that money could be used better here at home. So we're taking on that duopoly, we're taking on that military-industrial complex as Greens. We're trying to make a shift in the federal government's priorities, and for that, the Green Party and our campaigns all need money, and money of in all amounts. From $5 to $500, whatever you all can afford. We match that with our people power. We match that with our connection to people on the ground working for these changes in cities all over the country. We're not running here as individuals. We're running as representatives and allies of movements of people who are doing all this work. And so we need your support. You can donate to my campaign individually at hoffmanforus.com. But you can also donate to all the campaigns nationally by donating to the GPUS CCC Candidate Fund. GPUS meaning Green Party US, and the CCC Candidate Fund, which will then disperse that money to a number of candidates who are running around the country, whether that be in California or New Jersey, Missouri. We have Utah right here. In Utah, we have people all over the country who are running for office as part of a green wave, and you can help support that with your donations to us individually or, once again, to the GPUS CCC Candidate Fund. Thank you all very much for being a part of making this happen.
Hello, my name is Brett Joseph, and I'm running for the Green Party candidate for Lieutenant Governor in Ohio in 2018, together with my excellent running mate, Constance Gadell-Newton, candidate for Governor of Ohio. It was actually a little over a year ago at the national meeting in Newark when our gubernatorial candidate, Constance Gadell-Newton, asked me to join her on the ticket. She and I agreed that we would make a strong team with common vision and complementary talents. After a very active year of grassroots organizing, coalition building, and public outreach, I can say with confidence that we have assembled all the key ingredients of a strong, people-driven campaign. And now we are looking towards November. As a 59-year-old native of Northeast Ohio, I am old enough to remember when the Cuyahoga River burned. This much publicized spectacle of environmental hubris, occurring the same summer that Ohioan Neil Armstrong stepped onto the moon,
set me on a course of lifelong inquiry into the relationship between our human potentials, the technological, social, and economic systems that we create, and our relationship to this living planet. Ohio now has become ground zero for opioid deaths, and numerous chronic illnesses are on the rise. We have a world-class medical industry, yet the health of our population is approaching third world status. Without bold leadership committed to systemic change, there appears to be no end in sight. As our manufacturing sector continues to bleed jobs to global outsourcing, we are facing certain new challenges that really are unprecedented in human history. Online retail giants like Amazon and Apple are driving conventional malls and bricks and mortar stores into bankruptcy, undermining the local tax base and driving vicious cycles of decline across the state. Conventional approaches of the two major parties, whether tax and spend or cut and slash, respectively, have failed to prevent a steady erosion of Ohio's standing in the national rankings in education, public health, and other key metrics. Last year, U.S. News Survey disclosed that Ohio was dead last in entrepreneurship, even as we boast a favorable climate, abundant land and water resources, and an extensive system of universities and community colleges. Why is this? It's a failure of our political system. We could do much better. The picture that is emerging at this time is that of a gross misfit between the institutional structures of our global political economy and the actual current realities that are emerging through changes in technology, the environment, and in culture itself. So, at this point, a failure to take bold action to transform those systems that keep us stuck in the problem area is a prescription for disaster. If we don't build the coalitions needed to guide change towards the resilient and sustainable future we know is possible, change will still happen, but it will be change for the worse. And frankly, I don't see how things can get much worse, but if you look around the world, on the trajectory we're on, we're going to be falling off a cliff in Ohio and elsewhere. Our call is, as it must be, a call for system-wide change guided by the enduring values of grassroots democracy, nonviolence, social equity, and environmental wisdom. I'm running as a Green because the winner-take-all politics of the two major parties has kept us blind to the truth that the quest for freedom and the quest for social and environmental justice are one and the same, and that our potential as individuals and communities can never be realized in the absence of spaces and places that are clean, toxic-free, and provisioned with the natural amenities required to meet our most basic human needs. Like millions of Americans, I'm passionate about the possibilities that lie ahead, about what we can do as innovators and problem solvers, a people united and committed to building coalitions for peace and social justice. And yet, like so many others, I feel moral outrage at the current leaders and partisans of the two-party duopoly that seem to have utterly abandoned the people's cause in exchange for a pay-to-play system that undermines our democracy and squanders our public resources. Like millions of Americans, I'm passionate about the possibilities ahead. And we know that the revolutionary light of freedom that we seek is the same light that guided the generation of '76, the marchers and the freedom riders, the union organizers, the farm workers, and today the indigenous water keepers. So today, and in the weeks and months ahead, we are rallying the Greens across the state of Ohio to advance policy solutions that work. Solutions guided by the enduring values of grassroots democracy, nonviolent, social equity, and environmental wisdom. It is time that we confront a basic truth, that the zero-sum, winner-take-all political and economic system can never serve as a foundation of a free and sustainable society. And with the help of all of you, our allies and supporters across the state of Ohio and nationwide, as well as our all-volunteer team, we the people will make it happen in Ohio in 2018. So please, if you could take a moment and consider the stakes and join us in this cause. This is the cause of freedom. This is the cause of a generation. This is our time, our brief time on Earth to make a difference. We will start a green wave, but we need help. We need volunteers and we need financial contributions because of the very fact that we do not accept any corporate donations. We are not beholden to those corporate interests that are dragging us down and compromising our future. You can contribute at constanceforohio.org. Any amount would be greatly appreciated. You should know that a $50 contribution is an automatic tax deduction on this year's tax. And also under the campaign finance laws, you can donate all the way up to $12,000 as an individual contribution. Again, any contribution amount will make a huge difference because as a people-driven campaign, it's going to take all of us to turn this ship around and to recapture the future